Avery, do our intro. Ready, go.
Go! It's the Power Pals, guys. Would you believe it? It's the Power Pals during quarantine. It's at least two of us. Where did Andrew go?
I
Oh,
wanted.
he's showing off our logo. The
Yeah.
Power Pals.
Oh, no.
That's us. Hey, guys. Here on the Power
Hello.
Pals podcast, we are Avery Faith and my pal in outer space, all over the place, Mike Black. And
Hello.
coming
Avery.
at you, yes. Are you
Hello.
coming in clear, sir? I can't hear you from outer space.
We are coming here to see you.
and over here in the grid, a digital frontier is Andrew DeWitt.
You know that from the soundtrack. You know that from the soundtrack, man.
I know the whole goddamn speech, actually.
Oh my God, the grid. Remember?
I did a comedy bit once in my, long and illustrious comedy career with that whole like digital frontier speech, but with someone with the speech impediment. So like trying to take it all serious, but being like a digital frontier.
I've got a tape of my little brother being the first time he was a dungeon master, and he has that R for W thing speech.
Yeah.
And he taped himself being a dungeon master, being like, Mason, you will play the dwarf warrior. It sounds real profesh.
Really sets the mood.
It does set the mood. What is this show about, Mike?
Well, I guess it's mostly about nerdy stuff, although last time we got nerdy towards the end. It's kind of like, remember Dan and Fruit at the Bottom yogurt?
Uh-huh.
Our show will get real nerdy
That, by the
at
way?
the bottom.
That shit was fucking so good because
Like all your episodes are just yogurt, and then you get to the fruit.
Right.
Yeah, and the fruit at the bottom is jelly. That's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of jelly.
Did we say my name? My name is Andrew DeWitt. If we did,
Your name.
You say your name?
I did say your name, but you didn't say your name. What's your name?
I just said it. Andrew DeWitt.
Say it again.
Andrew DeWitt. Now I oh no. Say your name.
Say it until it doesn't make sense anymore.
Say your
name.
Andrew, it's Andrew. God, I don't know what's happening.
Big deal.
He's crashing. Get him out of the pod.
Don't take me out of the pod. I don't want to know. At this point, I don't want to know. I'd rather be...
Right? We've come too far since I went in.
Send in that psychologist from Total Recall
After
to talk him down.
Years eating stuff. You know what I think? Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I get it. I don't want to know. Don't wake me up, guys.
Yeah. You don't want tasty weed every day?
No, I don't even know what it tastes. What tasty weed tastes like. I can't even be sure, Mike. God,
There's no way to know.
Does anyone quote any of the other movies?
No. Why would anyone?
No, they shouldn't have made them.
Those movies.
The problem is at that time, I feel like there was so much more novelty around the idea. Like nowadays, everything has a sequel, prequel, trilogy, whatever. Like back then, there was a big novelty to like, oh, it's 3 movies. That must mean it's going to be epic. As opposed to like kind of sitting on that and realizing like, we've just made history. Like, let's just let that lie for a while.
Dude,
you know?
honestly,
Yeah.
we would never have stopped talking about The Matrix if they left it at one movie. You know? Just a perfect movie. You know?
And I think that was what the Wachowski brothers were trying to do, but it was Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers can't leave $1 on the table.
Yep.
They're like, no, we have to do 2 more right now.
I was actually reading that about, so I'm a huge fan of the Halloween series, and I really like Halloween 1, 2, and 3, like the best, even though 3 is not really part of the series. But part of that is because when John Carpenter made Halloween, he made it with the intention that the Halloween series would be an anthology series, that every movie would have a new horror, a new nightmare to it. And that Halloween did so freaking well that they demanded that they make a Halloween 2 with more Michael Myers. And he was kind of like, he didn't really want to do it, but the only way that they were going to let him go forward with his anthology idea was if he did. So he did. And then when he did his anthology idea number 3, everyone was totally thrown because they were like, wait, where's Michael Myers? And he's like, no, he was never supposed, no, like this wasn't supposed to happen, you know?
This mask bullshit. We don't want these kids.
Yeah, what are these? Yeah. And 3 isn't a terrible movie. It's just that if you've fallen in love with Michael Myers, and the first 2 are really good. You watch
it's the plate spinner following the Beatles. On the Ed Sullivan show. You know, it's like, I'm sorry, you're just not going to top
God, could you
what
imagine
just happened.
with the like trying to get anyone to give a shit about this thing that you dedicated your life to?
Like, not even the kids are interested. They're like, we want the Beatles.
Half the female audience just turned into women like moments ago. They could give a fuck about your plates.
Imagine. Yeah, that's a great analogy. I thought the Animatrix was fantastic. I really liked
that. Was really good.
And if it was the Matrix and the Animatrix, man, come on, man, that would be
and
so.
And the Animatrix was just separated enough by the fact that it was animation and short stories.
Of like fleshing out the world. It did a better job of fleshing out the world than 2 fully fledged sequels did.
Absolutely.
You know,
because when those kids go to the haunted house,
that's
my favorite one in the Animatrix, because I thought also that's the one that everyone hates for whatever reason in Animatrix, but that one was so good to me because it was such a pure example of what the Matrix could be to people who don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like magic. Magic is just a glitch in our system, you know, like, so
I'll be the one, you know. So as much as it's fun to watch The Matrix and get excited, like, you're obviously not Neo. Like, Neo's been picked and it's not you. So what does it feel like to experience? And let me experience the Matrix world in a way that isn't just I'm some sad like tadpole creature in a pod, you know, like
right.
I mean, it was so cool. What a cool idea to show these kids. They go and they know that in this one room in this house, called the ghost house, right? Is that what they call it? The ghost house? You can throw a glass bottle on the floor, it'll shatter, and then it'll come back together, you know, and then and be back in your hand again. Well, that's a perfect example of some weird glitch in like a computer thing, but in their heads, they're like, it's like a haunted house.
Yeah.
And that one room where
even then, how far would you push that? Like, how much damage, you know, not understanding it as a computer glitch, you would think, like, what kind of damage can I do? Can I kill something and have it like come back? Or
you probably could.
And it goes back to the idea of that the Matrix has you, that it's like we every day encounter unexplained events, and it's essentially our brain is making sense of everything that we see or trying its best to, you know, and so in a way we're in a type of program, you know, and it's the way you're like when people have seriously inexplicable events happen to them and they black it out, or they don't, you know, they don't see whatever the event was, their brain tells them a different narrative. It's like, that's just a higher form of computer programming and dealing with glitches in reality, you know?
Yeah. I think that's a really cool way to think about it. That's what captured my imagination with it, you know, like, because to me, maybe I've said this a zillion times. I don't know if I have on this show or not, but I've always said this. The Matrix was over when Neo hung up the phone and flew into the fucking air like Superman.
Yeah.
I know he's going to do it. He can
Mhm.
fucking fly now. You know, like he's aware that this is such a dream that like you can make your own reality here. He's done. He's got it. He's got it all locked up. You know, like
Well, not only that, the way he talks to them in the phone,
yeah,
the way he says the next move is up to you.
yeah,
Where it's like, oh, he's actually, it's not lip service. He's actually going to try and find peace.
yeah,
Like, these powers are awesome, and he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with in a battle. But his end game is peace.
right.
You know, and that's pretty amazing. That's a great uplifting note to end on.
Yeah, it's a fantastic closing monologue. I'm going to show these people a world without you. You know, a world without rules and a world without you. Like, it's a fantastic closing monologue. And then, I don't know, man. Then you have albino twins with dreadlocks using samurai swords. And it's like, there was nothing twisty enough to make me super excited about it. And plus, I thought Neo's story was over. Is like he's got the girl. He's like
we don't need to see that come together. We didn't need the sex scene and the love thing. Like we know it. We've watched them fall in love. We can feel that they're in love. And now that everything's like better, you know, now that they've figured stuff out, they can be together, you know?
Yeah. And the idea that people were still doubting him after what he had achieved at the end of the first movie, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
I know.
Give me a fucking break. People are still doubting this person at that point, you know?
No, I mean, it was such a climax. I mean, talk about an amazing climax to a movie, dude. There's so much going on, all the A, B, and C stories coming together in one scene. One scene, they're all coming together with the fucking rippers or whatever getting through the hull of the ship, almost getting to like what they think is just like hackers, while Neo is having a literal spiritual experience with Trinity like begging him to, like, using her love for him to basically bring him back to life. You know,
and
like
Trinity's story coming full circle, because like
absolutely.
It's like we didn't see Trinity go meet the Oracle. We didn't see Trinity come into this world. When we meet her, she's our way into the world. She's a part of the world. But at one point, Trinity was a person going, holy shit, it's all real. You know what I mean? Like at one point she was shell-shocked, basically, you know, and to have that moment for her to come full circle is almost more powerful for me, because like, I mean, Trinity's my favorite character in the movie, I think.
Well, her part with Joe Pantoliano when he turns, you know, and reveals what he's actually doing.
Yeah.
And you know, she's been going off what the Oracle told her, you know, that whoever is the one you're going to fall in love with and all of that. And he has that whole part about, if he's the one, then something's going to stop me. You know, it was so well done. And so like the tension was so ramped up. And she's just watched a friend of hers die. And the way they made her, I don't know how they managed to do it, but they made her so incredibly cool, but also incredibly vulnerable throughout that entire movie. And that is a very, very tricky rope to walk, you know?
Yeah, she doesn't see it right at the beginning. She has to tell herself to get up because she's too scared, you know, because she's got her guns trained on the door. That's a bad move to just lay there with your guns on the door, waiting for something horrible to happen. Just get the fuck out of there. But she's too scared to move, you know? I thought that, you're absolutely right. She's vulnerable and cool at the same time, which is crazy. You never see that with female characters. They're usually like, hello, ladies.
Yeah, it's either one end of the spectrum or the other.
Like gimmick, you know what I mean? It feels cheesy or whatever, whereas this feels like, I mean, it feels more realistic. It feels like a woman who's earned her strength through I mean, probably trauma, you know, but as a
Right.
result, like she's obviously a sensitive person. She's not some cold hard, like nothing gets to me. She's like,
Yeah.
in fact, stuff has gotten to me so much that I'm the way I am now, you know,
Well,
which
and
is,
you see her like right before the moment that you're talking about with her, the gun aimed at the door. You've just seen her do this incredible shit.
Right.
And you're like, oh, if this girl's afraid,
yeah.
then whatever's on the other side of that door is fucking crazy badass, you know?
Yeah.
And they did such a good job. It's almost silly to say it, but they did such a good job of myth building
Yep.
throughout that movie, of setting up each character and how, and then delivering on it, making each character as cool as they made them sound. You know, like there's the part where Morpheus says, you know, I've seen people empty entire clips and hit nothing but air, talking about the agents and just warning about how no one who stood their ground has lived through it, you know, but they actually made them look that formidable later in the movie, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. A perfect movie. And I went in blind to the theater. I did not know what the twist was. I did, and I fucking could not. It's still maybe one of the best cinematic experiences I've ever had. When I remember I was with my buddies Justin and Dave, and I looked at them, and we all went, "Holy shit!" Like, so fucking good to us, you know?
I did a thing at that time. The Shrine Auditorium would do these monthly Comic Cons, and they said the cast of the new movie The Matrix is going to be here, and they're going to do a Q&A about their new movie. And they showed us a couple of clips, and it looked cool, but they didn't give away very much at all.
Yeah.
And they had the whole cast there, Keanu Reeves, everybody. And they were like, does anyone have any questions? And we were like, not really. I mean, it looks like a cool movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, Warner Brothers has a special treat. You're all invited now to go see the movie across the street on campus, blah, blah, blah. And we're all like, great. And so we go watch the movie. And they were like, well, thanks for coming out. And that was the end of it. And it was like, shouldn't you have done that Q&A after we saw this amazing fucking movie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we all have a shitload of questions now, you know.
This was when laser pointers at movie screens was a thing.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And there was some dude shooting, like right at the end, started shooting the laser pointer at the screen. And this dude, he goes, quit it, first time. And then the second time he goes, fucking quit it. And then the third time he stands up, he goes, dude, if you... listen, I'm sorry, because he goes, fucking quit it. He sees like a family behind him. He goes, I'm sorry for cussing, but dude, if you don't fucking knock it off with that laser pointer, I'm gonna fucking twat you. And I was like, what? What does that even mean? But it sounds brutal. It sounds brutal.
He is going to shove the laser pointer in his twat.
People were not having it because that movie was so fucking tense right at that part.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I loved it. I loved it so much. I couldn't believe it. And then I remember when the second one came out going like, oh man, why are they doing this? You know, I was like, maybe it'll be cool, I guess. But I could tell I wasn't as excited about it, you know?
Yeah, because you've been told a complete story.
I have, yes.
There's nothing left. And that was almost what happened with Star Wars. You know, like...
I mean, there's like healthy interest in like, I could learn more about this world and be interested, but you're not, but there's like no unanswered questions, you know?
Right.
Which is why things like the Animatrix were awesome to me. If you want to tell other stories in that world, great. This story's done for me.
Yeah, this main story is over. Yeah.
But yeah, I loved that's why I just gobbled up all the shorts in Animatrix. But yeah, I remember seeing it and I was like, it looks cool. It looks cool, but I don't understand. I feel like the story's done, you know?
But like, yeah, you compare that to Empire Strikes Back, which was essentially in the exact same boat, Where if
Yeah.
you look at Star Wars, it's pretty much a perfect story, beginning, middle, end. It doesn't leave anything unanswered that you really need. But they were smart enough on Empire to use that backstory that had been used in the original to craft a second act, you know. And back then it was a lot easier because there wasn't the internet, and they could do they could feed audiences a little bit more in previews where they like mention the idea of who Darth Vader really is still up in the air. We haven't seen the Emperor yet. We haven't seen, you know, Jabba the Hutt. All these background sort of characters are still sort of lingering in that world, whereas in the Matrix, it was all pretty much laid out right there, and you met everyone that you were supposed to meet.
Yeah.
You know, and there wasn't an understory to it, really, other than maybe Morpheus having been looking for him his whole life. You could have done something with that, but they didn't, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only interesting thing in all of the sequels is the fact that Neo is a mathematical anomaly in the programming code, and he keeps happening every 50 years or whatever. Like, there keeps being like a Neo or whatever, you know? And it like keeps repeating, and they can't figure out how to get the anomaly out of the Matrix code. You know, like
right. And I would have liked. There was a lot of stuff that happened in the monologue with the old man at the end.
Yeah.
That I would have thought the Wachowski brothers were smart enough to know. We would much rather be shown a lot of this than told it.
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff he's talking about are the makings of some really good movies.
Maybe it was stuff having like actual shot stuff being cut, and that had to be their compromise on like, well, fuck, we still really need the audience to know this, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe. It seems weird, though, that like, I don't know. I mean, that revelation was the only thing I found humorous about it. I mean, I do like I kind of liked the idea of like demons and vampires and stuff like that being basically like rogue agents.
Programs. Yeah.
Rogue agents that just don't want to get deleted by the system, so they like hide within society now. That's cool. But that could be like its own little series or something. I would read a comic book about that. You know?
Yeah, if you remember, they did a video game that came out simultaneously with the movies.
Yeah, it was
and you fight a lot of the vampires and robots in that, and it was still terrible, but it was interesting that they at least used them somehow.
Yeah.
Now,
they could have
in
gone
regards
way
to
further with that too. You know?
In regards to the him appearing previous times, a counter to that was, I don't know if you guys watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
My friends were way more into it than I was, but I remember the idea of all the Slayers, you know?
Right. And so there was the idea that like every generation a new Slayer would occur, you know, and there were other girls that were potential. So if that one died, or the power would transfer to the next girl and what have you. At one point, Buffy has the vampire Spike in a situation where he's basically neutered. He's disarmed. And so she uses that to gain intel. And she's like, you're the only vampire I know. And you've also killed 2 Slayers in your lifetime. Walk me through how you did that.
Yeah.
And he does. But as he starts telling the story, they put him in the 80s on a subway. And he's talking about what happened in the 80s on a subway where he confronted one of the Slayers. And then they show the actual fucking fight.
Yeah.
And then as he talks more, they go back to the Chinese Boxer Rebellion and the Slayer he killed then. And he's in the fight while he's describing it. And I was like, that is such a much more effective and cooler way of telling that story. And they did it on a TV budget, you know?
Yeah.
Of like, I would love to have seen other versions of Neo and how you could have shown how archaic the program was the first time he appeared, and shown like just how it and him evolved throughout that time. You know, it was, instead there was the big rave in the cave. You know, I was like, why would you waste money on this when you have actual compelling shit?
Yeah, that was weird to me. I remember, like, my friends and I all trying to justify why that was good at the time. You know, do you ever nerd do that, where you try to talk yourself into something not sucking?
For sure.
I'm really bad at it, but I have done it.
I do it hard now, but I mean, I'm very familiar with it from a
I did it hardcore when I was younger. You know?
Yeah.
Because I almost didn't realize that these things sucked. And I was like,
yeah.
But you're allowed to not like something within what you like. You know what I mean? It felt like
it took me a long time to figure that out. Surprisingly, you know, because I remember it took me 2 years, almost 2 years, to figure out that the fucking the first prequel for Star Wars was a big bag of dog dicks.
Garbage.
It took my buddy saying, "Yeah, and we all know that that fucking prequel was a fucking loaded dog shit." And I was like, oh my
we
God.
all know that? All of us?
Hit like an Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing, where I was like, oh, wait, you're right. I remember saying to him, I go, oh my God, you're right. It did suck.
It's really good to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Like a full year and a half, 2 years later or something, and I was like, no, you're right. Oh my God, it sucked. I realize it now.
You know, I don't want to give them too much of the benefit of the doubt. I just know that, like, I'm a big defender of The Crow too, because of that kind of thing where, like, it got run through basically the studio, and the studio had all these demands for, like, things that they needed in it, even though the people who made it came to it saying, okay, we'll only make it if it doesn't have A, B, and C. And studio was like, yeah, absolutely. And then they signed them on, and then they watched the first cut, and they're all, you know what it's missing? A, B, and C. And by that point, you're already, like, totally invested. You've already made a movie. It's maybe, you know, you feel like this is maybe your big ticket or your chance to make a Hollywood movie. And you think, like, well, fuck, is it that big of a compromise to shoot, like, a rave scene? Fine, I'll do it. You know, like, I'll make it work. I'll get it in there.
I actually think that the rave scene thing was probably the Wachowskis' idea. I think.
I mean, I'm not. It totally could be. I just feel like a lot of times when I see something like that, where I'm like, why would you spend screen time on that when you didn't spend screen time on this? I imagine it was some dumb executive being like, but could we get them in a lot of different outfits? And you're like, does it matter? You know?
Well, and they do kind of the opposite of what W.C. Fields did now, where what W.C. Fields would do is he would shoot a whole bunch of really outrageous shit, so that the censors would go, get rid of that, and he would be able to keep the stuff that he wanted, you know. But now studios will make crazy demands like, shouldn't there still be, I mean, I know we're at war with the machines and everything, but there would still be McDonald's, wouldn't there, like, in their underground layer? Couldn't we have, like, Coca-Cola and McDonald's and stuff like that around there for humanity?
And then that's it, is that then you have to devote story time and screen time to explaining why those things exist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, then you've got a whole storyline about, like, why are we talking about McDonald's, just to explain why it's in the background, you know?
Right. And so that's exactly the trap, is they go, well, that's fucking ridiculous that McDonald's would exist in outside the Matrix, blah, blah, blah. And so while the creative people are dealing with that shit, they can go, well, then can the good guys have a celebratory rave or something? They go, well, yeah, that sounds a lot better than the fucking McDonald's.
That's doable.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Trey Parker and Matt Stone did that for Team America World Police, where the uncut version of the marionette sex scene has her pissing on his face and taking a shit on him.
Yeah.
And like they
So that
showed
they were like, that's where we draw the line. The rest of it's not so bad.
all of it. They specifically said the reason that they did that was so because they wanted to have this like ridiculous like bumping like doll parts like the way like little kids make dolls hump or whatever, like
Yeah.
they wanted to have that like crude like smash cutting to that crude like when the dolls like just being jiggled by the strings up and down on top of them while they're having sex. They needed that to happen because it's so funny,
Right.
and it's such a funny song too. All
It's
I ask is that you're a woman. And then at the very end of the song for them to go, or a man, like it's just
either.
like, they needed that marionette sex scene to be in there so badly that they added all that other stuff because they knew that they could keep it in there if they fought to keep her taking a dump on his face and showing her like straightening and then him being like as like a turd hits his face. Like, while that romance music is playing and they fight to keep that, it keeps them so distracted that like by the time they begrudgingly agree to cut it, like we're good to go, man. We've got the rest of the doll humping in here.
Exactly.
What a great move, man. I loved it. Oh man.
Hey, speaking of dolls and making them bang and stuff, so the other day I went yard sailing, as I am wont to do in this pandemic because it's the only form of entertainment I have, and I saw this thing of Cabbage Patch dolls. And normally I wouldn't look twice, even though I know that there's like collectors and stuff. But I saw some that I've never seen before, which are like these like kitty cat looking, like they're animal Cabbage Patch dolls. And
do you happen to have access to them right now?
I do. You want me to get them?
I kind of do.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on one sec.
I saw them on her Instagram, and I think our followers need to see this.
How funny would it be if she pulled them out of the toilet right now?
And they're actually a live cat and dog and have nothing to do with Cabbage Patch Kids.
And then she just starts pulling her hair out, and we end the episode.
Just a lingering shot of her pulling her hair out, slowly turning into a cat lady.
Oh my God. Let's see these weird things.
Goodness.
Here's the Koosas.
Look,
they've got full, like they have like cat eyes.
Feline eyes. Creepy.
Yeah. And fully, like the ears are sculpted on, and this one has little cheeks too.
Little nibbits.
And like whiskers and the little nose, and of course a tail, and a little hold on.
I thought you were going to show us his genitals.
It's a belly button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not what you think it is. It's a belly button.
No, it is not.
And then he's got this little tuft of hair. And then this is the kitty cat one. And he's got the tag right here. It says Koosa. And this is the lion one.
Right.
Yeah, and see, her eyes are a little bit more normal, but she's got the nose.
Go back to the other one real quick.
Did they come with instructions?
They don't. I just found them loose.
Why does the one on the right have the sleepwalker's eyes? Stephen King.
Yeah. Well, it's a cat. That one's a cat. The other one's a dog.
Like this one's like a full cat. It's got the full eyes, and this one is supposed to be a lion, but it has like Cabbage Patch eyes. And
I feel like I would be cheated without having the cat eyes, but the cat eyes make it a disturbing toy.
When I look at them up close, it looks like somebody might have painted these eyes on after the fact, but that seems weird. I like the kitty one better.
I think what happened is the kitty one came first and scared the shit out of a lot of kids. And so they painted over the eyes on the other one.
I think you might be right because she's way more. She just looks like a Cabbage Patch with like weird hair.
Yeah,
you know?
a Cabbage Patch that's into cosplay or something.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a straight up furry here. Oh, and these collars. But then I wonder though, because this is the one with the collar, and I read that they were made with collars first, and then they stopped making collars because they were like kids were trying to wear them and like choking themselves
for obedience.
Yes. And
you know how kids get.
So she's got the collar and he doesn't, and she might be the older one. Either way, they're horrifying, and I love them.
Do they know that if they shed blood, they'll be sent to the House of Pain? Because, fuck.
2 legs better than 4 legs.
Yeah, do not walk on 4 legs.
Oh, my God.
I would love it if that was how they marketed those. Dr. Moreau and Xavier Roberts got together and created pets for the Cabbage Patch Kids.
There's some guy on coke in the 80s. He's like, I got an idea. What if the island of Dr. Moreau was for kids?
Well, I'm all obsessed with them now. I guess they have like puppy and bunny ones and stuff. And I'm like,
kids like animals, right? Well, wait till they hear about animals and dark science getting together.
Yeah, right? How do we make dark science approachable for the little ones?
All right, Derek, you've pitched us Island of Dr. Moreau on every single toy pitch. You try to work in an Island of Dr. Moreau angle.
So far, it's worked on G.I. Joe, and that's about it.
We're not going to do it on Cabbage Patch Kids. Smash cut to that thing's eyes.
What the fuck have you done? If someone brought that out of a hospital, I would be like, you have no right to play God.
Oh, my God. Oh.
This really is. The eyes really are the unsettling part. They're not quite cat eyes because the pupils aren't slits, but he's definitely not.
No, but they're definitely not human.
Yeah, this is not a human child.
No. I don't like that he's wearing Robin Williams suspenders.
He is.
Yeah, his little Mark outfit with nothing else on underneath. Nothing.
No.
The 80s took an entire shit on these dolls. Like every bad thing about these fucking dolls. I mean, I'm half expecting him to have like a Coca-Cola promo bottle shoved up his ass.
Oh, God.
They have a tag too from 1983. They're very retro.
83. I do not remember these.
Yeah, let me see.
I remember them being marketed, but I don't think I ever saw one live, like in the wild.
That's the thing is, I'm really into like retro toy. Not so much retro toy, but like forgotten toys from the 80s. Like if there's a listicle on something like that, I am all about it.
Yeah, like glowworms and Manchi cheese and that sort of shit. Yeah,
I loved my glowworm, man.
I know you did.
I always wanted a glowworm and I never got one. Or a popple? Popples. But I've never even heard of these. And
wait, what is a popple? Explain that to the children.
It's like a pockety stuffed animal with plastic bits, right? And then it's in a ball, and then you pop it out, and then it's a little animal you can play with.
Yeah, the way I kind of I
no.
thought like a toy that you took like kind of to a sleepover because you could like push all the plastic bits into it. So it was just like this little like puff ball, and then you could like pop it out and everything would like boop, and then it had like its little head and like arms and legs come out, and it had like a little tail, and I feel like there was a show like an anime.
And what would the other people at the sleepover be expected to do at that point?
They would be so excited they'd bring out their popples too, and
oh no.
Dude, okay, so I liked girl toys in the 80s. I get made fun of. I wanted popples.
Girl toys in the 80s were way cooler than boy toys. Boys were like, you like guns, right? And girl toys had like color change options.
We did like guns.
You did.
I like my boy toys too. I like my boy toys too.
Color change options.
I have been and always will be a total switch. So, but
an 80s toy switch.
Are you familiar with the line of toys called Sweet Secrets, Avery?
Yes. Am I ever? Oh my God. I love
Love Sweet Secrets, dude. I loved them.
Please tell those of us with testicles what the sweet secrets were.
All right, Sweet Secrets are little girl action figure dolls that you can fold back up into jewelry that you can
Good.
that you can wear. That you can wear. And dude, when I tell you that I got shit for being super into my Sweet Secrets,
God
when
damn
I
it,
went to
Andrew.
school with all my Sweet Secrets, dude, it was the worst for me.
I think that even the toy company was trying to tell you, keep this a secret.
A
Keep
sweet
your
secret.
sweetest secrets to yourself,
Dude,
Andrew.
I fucking love Sweet Secrets. I wouldn't stop talking about that. I would get made
They
fun
were
of
like,
so much.
little
in
boy, Ronald Reagan is president right now. Keep your sweet secret to yourself.
Keep your secrets salty and out in the open. No sweet secrets for you.
Oh,
Oh my God.
I fucking loved them, and it was like it was that and my love of Fig Newtons that like kids couldn't get over. I'd be like, well, cookies are pretty good, but Fig Newtons are so much better. And people,
You're like an old man and a little girl rolled
Wait.
into.
Andrew, was that not the actual tagline for Fig Newtons, what you just said there?
a cookie is a cookie, but Fig Newtons are fruit and cake. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I loved some fucking.
That's such an old person, like condescending. Like your snack may be a snack.
My snack is fruit and cake.
Dang.
Get him.
Dude, I loved them. I'd split them open in my face and smell them after I broke my Fig Newtons open.
Jesus Christ.
And kids would be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, I always like to smell my Fig Newtons before I eat them. And this is with me with a Sweet Secrets bracelet on doing this stuff, dude. Like, it was...
As a bully...
Napoleon Dynamite, like extra, you know? Holy shit.
As a childhood bully myself, I would have been like looking around like, why aren't we getting him? What are we waiting for? He said everything that you need to say.
Dude, yeah, man, I was, without me knowing that I should not be into that stuff, I was super into that stuff. I used to dress like Wonder Woman,
Right.
which my dad didn't like that much. My mom would always take pictures of me.
I love how moms know that precise, like, oh, this is going to suck for him later. Better
No, I
doc.
don't think that was why. I think she genuinely thought I was excited about Wonder Woman, and I wanted pictures of me dressed as Wonder Woman taken. So I would be posed like Wonder
We
Woman.
did commission the photos, so, you know.
I would always be posed like her. And yeah. And then
So
we had...
just as I was wondering why you weren't getting beaten upon, you were wondering why no one was photographing this.
I remember not understanding what was happening until we had like a job fair at kindergarten, and everyone was going over to like the army thing where they were handing out pictures of like bullets or something, and
Pictures of bullets for the kids.
Don't you want to do this?
I waited in line for the entire duration of the job fair so that I could have my nails painted by a nail technician who would do like a fancy design on my nails. And I remember being like, yeah, I want a blue with a pink stripe and like something like a neon pink stripe on there. And I thought it looked so good. My nails looked so good, right? And I remember on the going out onto recess, this kid pulled me aside and he's like, come here. And I was like, what's going on? And he just starts scraping the nail paint off of my nails.
Right.
He's like, he was, I remember what he said. He's like, you can't be doing that, man. You can't be having your nails done like that while you're a boy and you got the Sweet Secrets bracelet on too. You got to get these off your nails.
I love that kid was trying to help you in his own weird way because he knew what Sweet Secrets were. You know, like
he could smell
like,
them a mile away.
It's like, you have to wear it in your underwear like I do. You can't wear it out here.
You got to do it like an anklet so it's under your pants.
Yeah, but I remember going like, oh, but he ruined my my nails look so good. I was so excited to show everybody, and then he ruined them, and I couldn't figure it out because I hadn't been exposed to you're not supposed to do this. You know,
yeah, he saved you from an ass kicking that would have been legendary at any school.
Do you think in kindergarten I would get an ass kicking? I think it would be later.
I think there were enough douchey dads out there training their kids to be idiots very, very early on.
Yeah, I would
almost positive. In the 80s, yes. Nowadays, not at all.
Girls were really, really mean to me in a very hands-on way. Like, I don't want to say, like, I didn't get, like, beat up, but I definitely got, like, pushed around and teased in a very, very aggressive physical way, you know, for the way that I was. And I could definitely see like kids being,
absolutely. I really wish you had gone to the Army, people passing out bullet pictures and go, now, do any of these turn into a little friend that I can carry around?
Dude, but here's the deal. Like, I'm just chaotic neutral, period. Like, I'm just, I was a wild card as a kid, and that's how I am now, too, with this stuff, because that same year, I had to go to the principal's office because me and my buddy Nate found a bunch of liquor bottles in the woods by the recess, and we threw them at cars in the parking lot. You know, and that's not
painted nail material.
Painted nail sweet secret stuff. That's just I guess I was a psychopath. You know, I was just doing whatever.
You know, Andrew, I have the same problem where some of my stuff is very much like kind of like exploited sad girl looking for validation, you know, and other stuff is like sociopath maybe. like maybe keep that one for your journal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird time. I was a weird child.
That, you know, I did a lot of weird stuff, but I was very lucky that it was all kind of compartmentalized. Where, like, after Thriller came out, I got real into dancing, and to the point where I was like, I want to take dance classes. And I did, and I took like a year of ballet and a year of jazz, and we did like recitals and stuff. But I don't know if my mom was just wise enough to do this or it was just the way it was. The dance studio that I went to was like 4 towns over. And so I could do the recital there and all that stuff. And no one at my school knew anything about it. And I always kind of kept to myself anyway, never really like, I wouldn't brag about something like that normally, you know? And so I think that might have saved me from a few beatings of going, you guys want to come to my dance recital? You know?
Yeah.
I never really did that. It never even occurred to me to do that, you know?
Yeah. How old were you when you were doing that, Mike?
Well, it was when Thriller came out, so I'm guessing 84. So I would have been about 8 or 9.
Yeah. Yeah, kids would still care, because I took, this will shock no one, I took tap and ballet for 7 years with Mr. Lowell.
That's much longer.
Yeah, it is much longer. I loved it. But yeah,
I think we found our unifier. Like our one unifier here is ballet. We all took ballet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So we can pas de bourrée and plie.
Yep, step ball change.
We could do a grand jeté. We can.
I don't know if I still can, but I think I could.
There's some really bizarre undiscovered statistic on that like every nerd has taken ballet. You know,
but all of that helped me tremendously when I started doing musical theater.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Because when we would audition, they would be like, "Okay, you know, kids, you're gonna have to learn a dance combination, and we need to see how you move during an audition." And I was like, oh, this is easy. This is so much easier compared to the stuff I've been doing, you know?
Yeah, compared to that hardcore grapevine grind you were on.
You know, it's funny, that actually came into play a lot during cosplay. It surprised me how much, like, it would be such a bummer to have people who would spend all this time and energy on these really incredible costumes that looked amazing. And you could stand there and look at them in person, and then they take these pictures that looked awful because they didn't know how to pose, because they don't know their body. And that was the one thing that I got consistently that was like kind of my one strength, was like, you really own the characters that you're in, and you do like cool pictures, and like, you know, it's more than just, oh, here's a cool picture of like the outfit. It's like, oh, that's the character. And I feel like, and it was really striking to me how it was even just stuff like, put your shoulders back, you know, don't do this, you know, like, you know, stuff that's like, know your body, know what looks good.
Just having a good sense of body language and how it works. I think in any sort of performance capacity, it's immeasurably helpful to just know and be comfortable with what you're presenting physically, you know?
Yeah, especially if you're signing up to be photographed or like on camera for a living, you know?
Yes.
Just a suggestion.
Well, I guess we all were sissy wieners when we were kids.
We all wear masks, metaphorically speaking.
Mm-hmm. That's why I live in space now.
Well, Avery gets to live in a house. You live in space, and I live in our logo. How terrible is my deal?
I live in a beige room. That's just every shade of beige possible. I live in the most like OC house possible right now.
Yours is cool if you have a light cycle. Oh no, now it's a Denny's menu or something.
No, it's not. It's Big Beef Hog Water.
What are you talking about? That's a Denny's menu I want to order off of.
There you go.
Is that a pig lady?
Yes, it's a pig lady. She was a pinup I did for a fake food that Danish and O'Neill and I came up with called Big Beef Hoggers Hot Dogs and Hog Water.
God damn it. Ugh. I told you, didn't I have a thing about, like, I won't eat at a place that has the main thing that you're eating wearing a bib and holding a knife and fork. Like, it's excited to be there as you are.
Well, Mike, what do you think about this sassy lady?
She is different, though. She's not going to be murdered, I don't think.
No, I got to murder that ass.
Right. That actually seems like something you would wear a bib over, you know.
Dude, that is a life goal I have yet to complete, is wearing a bib to an ass eating.
I thought you were going to say eating the ass of a pig lady. It was
You're right. You're right. I know. I knocked that checklist off when I went to the island of Dr. Moreau to get my Koozles cabbage patch. I barely escaped with my life. Well, you guys, that's been our episode, guys.
That
was a lot of fun. I had a good time.
I had a great time with you guys tonight.
I always have a good time with you guys.
Who was the Dr. Moreau on South Park?
Oh, that's right.
He was like, I bonded this piece of chalk to this.
Oh, the baboon with 8 asses.
Yeah, everything had asses, extra asses.
Dude, that was fantastic. I forgot that they did that. They've been doing it for so long. You know?
That's
one of the old school ones. It's funny. I haven't watched South Park since, easily one of the early seasons. I remember it airing when I was a kid and my parents and I watching it. And then, falling off very early on. But I remember that one. Yeah, it was like everything was like, and over here, a pony with 4 asses. And it was like, what is your obsession with the asses?
A lot of them were,
it's all coming now. God, I haven't thought about that. Oh.
Yeah, and they're just sitting there looking really forlorn, like looking back at their multitude of butts, like.
And I can almost smell hidden weed, like hiding weed from people, like, and then those jokes are like go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't thought about them forever. Well, guys, this has been the Power Pals. Excuse me.
Been and will always be.
My name is Andrew DeWitt. You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at DeWittiot. Instagram has a lot of my artwork on it. If you like my artwork, then you might like the game show Misery Index on TBS. I do the artwork for that. So check it out. Mike, where can people find you on Twitter and Instagram?
All over social media at Mike Black Attack. I also do another podcast called The Nighttime Show.
And
Goodbye.
Avery. Whoa! We lost him again.
We lost it.
We lost him again. I hope he doesn't burn up re-entering the atmosphere. Across the universe, Michael Black is falling. Avery, where can people find you?
I'm on all social media at Sick Horse with a 0 instead of an O, and that has links to any other social media you want to find me on, including my blog at rabbitholereviews.com.
And check that out, because when October comes,
It's going to be spooky in here.
It's going to get spoopy.
Possibly, maybe. It's on the agenda.
It's going to get... Oh! Where he sort of is.
He orbited back around. We caught him.
I saw too much of his ceiling because it's the fake green screen thing. Well, guys, we'll talk to y'all soon.
Oh, I thought he was really in space.
Oh, no. He's not.
Oh, okay.